Statue of Liberty started shaking her fist, and the eagle will fly, and it's gonna be here. I brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues. I'm Ken Rollins, and this is Veterans Issues, and we talk about items of interest of veterans and military. So today we don't have a guest except me because I got some things I need to talk to you about. So stay where you are, get you a pen, be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins, and today I've decided not to have a guest so I could cover in depth some of the things that we haven't been talking about in the past, that we've talked about, kind of brushed over. So we're going to go more in depth with them. So hopefully we'll cover some of the things that you're interested in. So get your pen and let's go to work on covering some things that I've been wanting to cover more in depth with. Now, the first item I want to talk about, so I made myself some notes, something I don't normally do. So I'm going to talk about, first thing is going to be Veterans Day, which is November the 11th. And there's several activities that you can go to. I want to talk to you about first here locally in Anniston, the Oxford area, is the one in Centennial Memorial Park at 11 o'clock. We normally have a great turnout up there and looking for the same thing this year, but this year I'm going to do it a little bit different. Going to have some different music by some different people than we've had in the past. You've always loved the ones we've had, but I got a little special treat for you this time. I won't open up and let you know, but it's going to be some great music, and so it'll be worth attending. That's on November the 11th in Anniston in Centennial Memorial Park, which is 17th and Quintard, or on Highway 21 here coming through Anniston. So, and also on at the same time, on the same date, up in Birmingham at the hotel there, it's by the BJCC, trying to say Sheraton, I think it is. Yes, Sheraton. And they've got the Veterans Day awards banquet that they give out, the Veteran of the Year and all that, and that's at 1 o'clock. No, that's at 11 o'clock at the Birmingham. So, and then they have their parade at 1 o'clock. So it'll be televised, so you can come to ours and still get to catch it on TV later. But if you're over in that area, that's a great thing to see. I've been a part of it for a lot of years, and the one in Birmingham is the National Veterans Day. We had the folks on here that put it together a few weeks ago talking about that. Birmingham is the place for the National Veterans Day ceremony every year, so it's a great place to be. This weekend, which is the 26th, 27th, and 28th, down in Tuscaloosa, the city of Tuscaloosa has a family and veterans reunion. It's not the University of Alabama football, but the city of Tuscaloosa is doing this, and there's a lot of events, and I've had them up last week, and if we got them in the control room, we've got a flyer about that. We might find those, bring it up in the second half of the show or whatever, but the times and everything. But it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday down in the city of Tuscaloosa. So if you're in that area, that would be a good place to be this weekend, 26th, 27th, and 28th. The Disabled American Veterans, I think it's local chapter 98 locally here in the Anniston area, is raising funds to purchase a replacement van for the van they have now, and they need $15,000. So get your pen out, write that check to the DAV. But you'll see them around raising funds at various roadblocks and whatever, and it's a great opportunity. I think it was out in Lindlock last week, I'm not sure, but the van that they use is driven by volunteers that take people to the Birmingham VA for their appointments, and they just don't take them over there. They actually bring them back home. So it leaves from Oxford around 6:30 at the clinic here. We've got them in Etowah County and all the other places in our view here. Each place has a DAV van running people to their appointments over in Birmingham for those that cannot drive. While I'm talking about that, I talk about it sometimes on here when I have time, and that is if you'd like to do something for the veteran community, that's a great opportunity to volunteer, to be a driver of that van and take these people to their appointments. And as they get on up in the years and cannot drive, the van is very important to those people. So that's a great opportunity for you to do some volunteerism that really pays off. You get to know those riders, and so if you'd like to be a part of that, give me a call. My phone number will be on here periodically, and you give me a call, and I'll hook you up with Paul Brule and any of those people to let you be a a driver of that van. And bear with me because I'm running on a little hoarseness today. Not a horse, but a hoarseness. Now, I talk to you every week about building the official memorials in Anniston for the law enforcement, firefighters, Afghanistan, and Iraq veterans. I have legislation that designates Centennial Memorial Park as that location. And I'm running into some fund problems. It's going to be more expensive than we thought. So I've asked Steve Hurst to introduce legislation to fund that. And Senator Gerald Dial has agreed to the Senate to take it through there. So our local delegation will be supporting that as well. Hopefully Senator Dial can get it through the Senate, and we can have a bill that will pay for building those memorials that are overdue. The one in Afghanistan is we still don't know the end result of that. And the way it's looking, Iraq, we still may not be through with that memorial. So that's just bring you up to date where we are on that. We have a problem here since I saw you last, that we have veterans that get stranded here. There are some of them locally, and some of them are from out of town, and there's no agency that I'm aware of that helps veterans in need to get the financial situation. So somebody sent me a Facebook message asking me, is there such an agency? And if so, if there's not, what would it take to start one? Well, that is the way you start them. Somebody's interested in it, and if you're interested in starting an agency that would help fund people, I can tell you so many stories that we don't have enough time on the show to do that, and that is the stories about stranded veterans that had problems that got stranded here in our community. So if you're interested in doing something like that, give me a call, and I'll help guide you to that. Our Veterans Court, we have Judge Stedham that has it now, and Judge Peggy Miller Locker will be handling it when she takes over her duties. There's 2/3 of the counties in Alabama now have Veterans Courts. And how that works is if a veteran commits a felony and wants to admit to it, the first thing you have to do is admit to the crime. Then if they fit into the program, if it's alcohol related or drug related or whatever, or anger management problem, there are the VA, the federal VA, working with the court, will allow that person to attend courses. 1 year, they have battle buddies, whatever, and they get through a 1-year course and don't mess up. They can get their slate wiped clean. And that's important because veterans that's coming home are going to be looking for work. And one of the places they look for work is in law enforcement. And so they could never work in law enforcement if they got a felony on their record. So something that happened is a little anger problem because they just come out of battle might cause them to lose that. So the Veterans Courts are a great thing, and thanks to Judge Stedham and all of them that support that, and all those others across the state. And we're going to have to go to a break here. So when we come back, I'm going to continue on to talk about things that especially some bills that you may not be aware that are eligible for veterans. So stay where you are, get that pen ready. Be right back after this. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Today we don't have a guest, as you can notice. There's nobody beside me, so I'm just talking about things that I don't get to cover in depth during the show when I do have a guest. So we're talking about things that's specific to the veterans mostly here today. So if you will, let's go on over to some laws that have changed. I've talked to you about some of these before, so just to make sure, I had some fellows that call me. Thank you for those guys up in Alabama City that watch us every week. That if you don't know where Alabama City is, up in Etowah County, and I got some veterans up there that watch every week, and they had some questions about some of the things I talk about on here. And this is one of the bills that was passed in the last legislature. If you are a military or you're a veteran, and or you're in the military right now, and you get orders to transfer, let's say, from Fort Leonard Wood to Fort Rooker, and your wife was employed by a high box company or something. She's unemployed because you got transferred. You show those transfer orders to the unemployment office, and your wife can draw unemployment because you were transferred due to your orders. So that's a law that was passed. That's just Alabama law. So if you know someone like that and they have faced a transfer from the Navy, Air Force, whatever, to Alabama, and their spouse lost their job as a result, then they can draw unemployment from the state of Alabama. That's the thing, an appreciation for their service. And let's see, this is an act that was passed as nationally, but the Heroes for Hire Act. But the state of Alabama has its own. In the state, a company that hires a recently discharged veteran, now that's an Iraq, Afghanistan type veteran. If you hire one of those, you can deduct. You have an exemption of $1,000 per veteran on your taxes every year. For the veteran, if you are a recently discharged veteran, you want to go in business for yourself, you can get up to $3,500 tax exemption by starting your own business. So that's under the Heroes for Hire Act, and that's something that's just special for that. So if you know someone that fits into that, pass that on to them, if you will. And let's see, there's another one. Oh yeah, we're coming up on some holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. And if you just want to ride out some of the parks, whatever, any state park is open. There's no charge. If you are a veteran or you're active duty military, there's no charge if it's a state park during state holidays. So keep that in mind. Yeah, and you got ways to prove that, and I'll talk about that here in just a minute. So let's see, that I'll do it right here. On your driver's license, I won't reach in my wallet, but on my driver's license, there's a word on there that a lot of people don't have, and it's called veterans. So if you've got the word veterans on your driver's license, that constitutes discounts in a lot of the stores, restaurants, but it also will help prove your admission to the parks that I just talked about. So the way you get those driver's licenses, you take your DD-214, or you go to your tag office, let's put it that way, where you get your driver's license, anywhere you get your driver's license, and you tell them you want especially if it's renewal time, it don't cost you a penny to have the word veteran put on there. But if it is not renewal time, it cost me $18 because I had mine done when it was not renewal time, and that's for having the word veteran put on your driver's license for identification purposes. There's a lot of restaurants, your Applebee's and IHOPs and places like that give discounts that people are not aware of. Just that little card right there will do it for you. A lot of your box stores, Home Depot and Lowe's, people like that give discounts for veterans and military. So that's worth knowing. And let's see what else we got here. We're talking about the veterans homes. A lot of you, I get calls about the state veterans home. Alabama has 4 state veterans homes. They're located in Alexander City, Bay Minette, Huntsville, and Pell City. And the cost per veteran per day is like $11 to $16 in the homes, except for the one in Pell City, and it's a high end. It's like $25. And however, in any of our homes, if you're 70% disabled or above, it doesn't cost anything. So that's good information, and a lot of folks will want to know, how do you do that? And if your spouse, your dad or your granddad or whoever is what you think is in need of a veteran's home, first of all, the doctor has to write a prescription. So as I say, Mr. Jones needs to be in a veteran's home, long-term care, short-term care. And the one in Pell City, we have Alzheimer's units and dementia and Alzheimer. We got the assisted living domiciliary unit there where you can go and come as you please, but you're not quite ready for the veterans home. But the way you find out what you're eligible for is you go to your local veteran service officer. In a case of Calhoun County, that would be down at 1702 Noble Street by the tag office in there, and you'd see them and you say, I want an application for my dad or whoever to get into the veterans home. And that's done, the way they find space is veteran, the first of all, the combat veteran, then veteran, and then the type illness you have that makes you long-term care, whether it's dementia, Alzheimer's, or heart problems, whatever. You're assigned a caseworker who will check on you, come by and visit with you, and then you'll be admitted into the home, and that's the way you get in it. But it starts right there with your doctor saying that person needs to be put in a nursing care facility, and then you take it to the veteran service officer nearest you and to fill out the paperwork. Simple as that. And we have we're about 95% capacity as I'm taping this show today. By the time you see this Thursday, I will already have been to my quarterly, this is the October Veterans Home Committee meeting. Already have been to that down in Montgomery. So we got great homes. That's where I would rather be if I had any relatives. That's where I want them to be because they are so good, and we have such good ratings. And we have something that we don't like to talk about, but the state of Alabama has the first ever state cemetery for, it's free of charge. It's located down at Spanish Fort, down in the Baldwin County area. It's a beautiful facility, and we just opened it last year, and we have scatter grounds. We have everything that you want, and it's free to the veteran. If the spouse wants to be buried in the same plot, that's $300 extra for the spouse to be there. But that's that. If you need more information on that, just give me a call and I'll put you in touch with those folks down there. But you'd have your funeral home, local funeral home, transport the remains down there to Spanish Fort. That would be the only cost involved in this transportation. So let's see. The Birmingham VA wanted me to tell you that they are building a new parking area, and it's going to be huge. It's going to take care of all the parking needs for the VA facility, they say. They're also building a women's facility along with that, and that's something that's overdue. When they built the Birmingham VA, they didn't have build it for women. They had to take bits and pieces of what's in the Birmingham VA to make it for women. So anyhow, I want to let you know about that. And now if you want a flu shot, call the clinic, 256-241-4147, 256-832-4147, and see if they got the flu shots in. As of today, it was just to show they did not have them in, but they told me to have you call them. Look for the Toys for Tots for the young Marines out there. They're all over the place. That's the one you give to, the Toys for Tots for the Marines. That's the one you want to give to. So we've run out of time on this portion of the show. Come back in a little bit. I got news that you can use. Stay where you are. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. We've got news that you can use now. I appreciate you sticking with me on that other, and I hope you got some out of it because we cover a little bit more in depth than we normally do. So let's go on here and cover some of the one of the things I talk about every week is my new number. If the control room would, while I'm thinking about everything, I want to bring up that flyer that we had on here about Tuscaloosa. But my new phone number that I'm asking, it's not a new phone number, it's part of what I'm asking people to contact me with, 256-239-9234. That's my cell phone number, and that is on the screen right there. And you can call that, or you can text me, and you can also reach me on Facebook. I have been known to be on Facebook every once in a while, like every few minutes, and you can email me at the email address is on here also, down front here somewhere, and you can do that. There's several ways to okay, and we all want to pull up this flyer and talk about it. In the earlier segment, I was talking about an event's going to happen in Tuscaloosa this weekend, the 26th, 27th, and 28th. That's the Alabama All Veterans and Family Reunion. And that is September, and I can't make all that times and everything, but you can read it better than I can. It's Honoring Heroes, and this is their first ever. So you're looking for something to do. You're looking for something to do on 26th, 27th, and 28th. Drop by down to the city of Tuscaloosa and see what's going on down there for that, because they've got a lot of airplanes on display. They got a lot of things that's happening in the city. They got semi parade, and they've got a big ball they have in there with speakers and dress up and all that kind of thing. So if you got that stuff off the flyer, then be there. And I got to give a shout out to William Hutchinson. You hear me do that every week. William Hutchinson is in education. He's on the Board of Education for the city of Anniston, but he's a friend of mine. And he gets on to me about not mentioning name, but I do that not because he said that, but he needs to be recognized. He's Mr. Education. A lot of kids have owe some education knowledge to that man, and that goes out to Willie Hutchinson. Thank you, sir. Let's see. The law enforcement tag that Bill Partridge designed is doing real well for us. You purchasing it, and a portion of it's coming to build the memorial here in Anniston. Another portion, a small portion, goes to Washington, D.C. for the fallen law enforcement officers. It's a beautiful tag. I see it all over the state. And Bill's going to be my guest next week. We got a lot of other things to talk about, including that. But it is doing well. A lot of people are purchasing that tag. You do not have to be involved in the law enforcement to purchase that tag. It's a great way of showing your support for the fallen, and it goes with every kind of color you can think of on an automobile. I don't believe there's a color that it wouldn't look good on. And I want to thank, I forget to do this sometimes, I don't have time to do it, is to thank WEAC TV 24 for allowing us to do this here. The only station in the state of Alabama that has a show designated just for veterans. And they've been allowing me to do this a little over 4 years now, so we appreciate WEAC TV 24 for that. I'm running out of time as usual, but I'm gonna try to just hit the things I really need to hit. Hey Betty Carr, I said hi to you in a while. And I've got to give, let's see, I'm gonna just go ahead and find out who I'm gonna give my salute this week. Yeah, the salute is to all those that are serving in harm's way, and that covers the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine, Coast Guard, and as we go to the show today, they just bombed Syria, and we don't know where this is going to lead to. So we'd ask that prayers be given to all those out there that are serving in harm's way, and this salute is for you and the wives of those that are serving.